So this week I'm back on house projects. The plan is to set up this room to be a future baby room. Now in order to do that, I'm obviously going to have to revamp the entire space. So right now this room is kind of serving as both my office and an overflow for excess junk. So I've got my leopard geckos by the window, I've got my steering wheel leather wrapping projects. Our crib is there along with a host of other things. It's basically just a semi-disorganized space. You can see we have diplomas up on the wall, got a bunch of junk in the corner. Then here on this side is my office. That's a closet that I built myself. Unfortunately, I did not document that because the amount of work to just build the two built-in closets that I did was huge. Filming it would have made it that much more difficult and made it take much longer. So I built that from scratch, full built-in unit. I've not made too much in terms of organization inside of here, but that's also going to get docked out for the baby. But for the series that we're doing right now with this video, the real focus is just on what we're going to do to the room in general. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be painting all these walls white, including that green one there, with the exception of this back wall, which I'm going to be painting in a dark green. But before I do that, it's going to get a series of sticks added on in a sort of geometric pattern, and that's going to make this into like one of those fancy modern accent walls. And we're going to go ahead and get a laser cut wooden emblem with the name of our baby. Alright, so at this point I've pretty much emptied out the room. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make a frame all around this wall using the sticks that I'm going to be using. I've got these, they call them 1x2s or something like that, but they're like 3/4 by 1.5, and they come with like a plastic sheeting over them. See that right there? That's being held up by those buckets. So I put one in a corner and it's held by a bucket. It's spacing out the lower one. I'm going to have another vertical section that's going to go there. And then I need to cut a piece that's going to be about 19 inches. And that's going to fill the gap between the vertical bar and the horizontal bar there. So off to the right of that can of paint in the image. So first thing I'm going to do is measure that out on one of the other sticks. And I will cut it on my miter saw. And I'm going to apply a vacuum to that so that I can minimize the mess. So I'll mark off my first piece. I'll go ahead and cut it.
Is it that? Smells strong.
Yeah, really strong stuff. 45 flat. Then the angle. Shame that does not have a 55 indicator. So I'm having a slight problem here, and it's the fact that these sticks need to be cut to 55 on the bottoms, but the saw that I have really only goes up to 45 degrees, I would say. Excuse me, 50 degrees. So that's not enough to make the cut that I want to make. So what I'm going to do with all of them is, what I've done with this stick is I already drew a line at 55 degrees using a protractor, and I'm just kind of line it up to the saw and hold it there and kind of cut it till it gives me what I want. So here goes nothing. Let's see how much of a screw up this is. Or who knows, maybe it came out perfect. Let's hope. One and only hope. Wow, that is way, way off. Alright, so I'm going to mark a point on the bottom at 43 and one on top at 61.41 inches, and let's see what that looks like. Alright, you're going to hold this. You see where that marking is? Right here? See that mark?
Mm-hmm.
You want the edge of this to just align to that mark, okay? Do that. I'm going to move this a little bit, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just going to see to it that you align it to that mark. Can you align it to that mark if that is possible?
From where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, let me see. Excuse me. No, this thing was too long all along. That should hopefully give us what we want. Alright, so let's liquid nails this. If you liquid nails, by the way, make sure you do it with the window open. This stuff smells so strong. The whole house was covered in it the other night. And honestly, we were not feeling very good. There we go. This stuff does the job very well though, I gotta say. Try to keep it as centered as you possibly can. So that was good. I'll mark up and do the next one. At this point I'm pretty much done for the evening. I'm happy with where I'm at. Tomorrow I'll just lay the horizontal sections that'll go on the left and right sides, and at that point this entire thing is going to be ready for paint. So I'll start laying down tape and bags everywhere, cover up the entire floor, and then I'll come in here and do some spraying work just to get that real nice. I'll probably start with the walls on the side, making everything white first, and then I'll move over and start adding the green to this accent wall. I've also got to do some wood filler work wherever sticks meet up, just to make sure that you don't see any transitions, especially in a couple of them that the gaps are a little bit larger than I would have preferred. But I'm overall happy with the layout as of this moment, and I can't wait to see the finished product and share it with you guys. All right. Alright, so at this point I've got all the sticks laid out on the wall. Now all that's left to do is clean up in here, and then I'm going to go around and just caulk all the edges, and wherever sticks meet each other I'm going to fill that in with wood filler. That way I can have smooth, seamless transitions from one into the other, and then I'll go ahead and sand all of that down so that it all looks nice and even, and this should be ready for paint. Got a cup here, just got a wet rag in it. I'll put on a glove, just go around caulking everything and then wiping off with the glove and cleaning it off here. At this point I've gone ahead and applied caulking to all of the bars on the wall, the little sticks that I've glued down. Now the thing left to do is actually to come around with wood glue and just seal all the seams in between the various sticks. Now I've got two different products. I've used this stuff here before, it's pretty good. I want to try this white sort of like stuff in a tube, see if it's a little bit easier to use. So I'll start off with this and then I'll migrate to this stuff if I feel the need, or if and when this runs out. Now the vast majority of these have a nice tight fit like this, but there were some where we made slight mistakes, so you see there's these little gaps. So I will be filling in these as well as these, because I just want it to look like one piece and not like a bunch of pieces that are attached to each other. Likely notice there's some filth from liquid nails here. I'm not too worried about this for the most part. Some of it comes off and the rest of it won't really be noticeable once everything is painted. I definitely got to come around with a hammer and knock in some of these nails because they do stick out a little bit. So I'm actually going to do that. But first I want to test this stuff out. See if I can't cut it in a way that allows me to use this as a nice little applicator. That'll look good once it's sanded. So at this point the entire wall has had wood putty added to it. So all it's left to do is really just sand down all the joints and all the little nail holes that got covered in the wood putty. And for that, I've acquired the assistance of my friend Gabe, aka the Wild Baldman. Of course, if you're not familiar with the Wild Baldman series, it's because you don't follow me personally on social media. However, I plan to create a TikTok page which will clarify precisely what this is. Anywho, let's get to sanding. Here is the block around which you may wrap some sandpaper. If you prefer a smaller one. Alright, let's take a test for it. Probably need a little bit more. Yo, what the hell? This thing is clogged again.
Yep.
Much better. You bring the roller, just like roll like around there a little bit. You see how it's like not uneven when I spray? So here's where we're at as far as progress. So far I've shot all the white paint on the walls. Now, a mistake that I made is a room of this size fogs up fairly quickly when you're spraying. So it interferes with your visibility, and then once you're not able to see as well as you're progressing, it's very easy for you to get drips. So you don't want to just take a dry roller and try to roll down those drips, which is a mistake that I made, and I ended up with some kind of gouges in the walls. What you really want to do is have someone with a paint tray with the same paint and a roller, a wet roller, and coming back as you're doing this and just back rolling it. So that you get a perfect finish without drips or excess. I've done 2 coats here, and then where those damages were, I actually had to go back just with a roller and tray and just roll new paint, do a couple coats of that, and it concealed the damages very well. But if you look up close, you're still going to notice it. Just in general, quite fortunately, because this is a bright white, it's hard to see defects on it. I've got to shoot the green wall, obviously, so I've got to start taping up for that. And then once that is shot, I actually have to go around all the edges where the walls meet the ceilings, as I have white overspray on that. And it's not the same white as I use for the ceilings. I have more of the same ceiling white, so we'll go through and just even all that out. So here you can see some of the defects, and interestingly enough, the camera actually captures it better than your own eyes, because I'm looking at it in the screen and with my own 2 eyes, and the camera can see the contrast a lot better, so you can properly appreciate it. But when you're actually just in here looking at it with your own eyes, it's hard to notice unless I were to point it out to you where the issues are. And there you can see how the white of the wall is different from the white of the ceiling, so I'm gonna have to come back in with more of that ceiling white and touch that up. But thus far, I'm pretty happy with this. I feel like the white makes the room feel so much bigger. So I'm excited to get this done and just see what it's gonna look like. Be able to better appreciate the final result. Fortunately, I do have to get back to work, so I've got to untape the closet there so I can get access to my work computer.